You're watching Rebuild Project.
So if you've been following me, then you know maybe about 7 or 8 months ago, I was doing the interior of the cuddy cabin, and we did all the paneling and all that stuff, but I also put some E.V.A. foam flooring on top of the sleeping decked area that we built. So we built kind of a raised bedded area, fiberglassed that in and put some gel coat on it. And I wanted to revisit that and just to see how that had turned out 7 months later. And it's turned out really, really well. There are some areas that had a bit of lifting. So I was thinking of why was that, especially if I'm going to apply it anywhere on the exterior of the boat. And I think it all came down to preparation. So back then, I took this generic E.V.A. foam that I got on Amazon or Viewer. One of the two. And this is just E.V.A. foam that has trying to simulate teak. So it's a 2-inch wide teak plank with a 1/4-inch caulking line. And yeah, you can buy it in 4 by 90 some odd inches long, so almost 8 feet. And I got 4 of them for about $100 each. So a lot cheaper than buying your C-decks or whatever you have in your area. And I decided, great place to put it on the floor there, experiment. Now we took our planks and we put them in about a stern fashion, linear that way. I just think it looks better. And in the cuddy cabin, I decided to even go a little bit further, and I took some of the E.V.A. foam, I'm just going to call it C-deck, took some of the C-deck-like foam, and I cut strips out of it. So I cut long strips, and then what I did with those strips was I decided to kind of picture frame or border the regular foam. So a lot of people just put the foam in as it is, straight, it butt ends up to whatever they're doing, and that's fine. It looks really good. But I thought, is there a way to kind of customize this cheaper, more economical foam and turn it into something a little bit cooler? So with these strips, I was able to actually, once you take the tape off, kind of bend and curve it, and I bordered the cuddy cabin floor, and it looks really good. With the black caulking line on top of the other black caulking line, it just made it look custom. And I think the key to that is when you're doing your mitered corners or wherever 2 corners intersect, you want to keep that really tight and put a little bit of adhesive on both sides. Boom, it works out really well. So anyways, as I was putting the seats in, I decided let's do one more test in the splashwell transom area here, just to kind of improve our technique a bit. Now, what I did here, I had come to the conclusion that I didn't prep the gel coat enough inside the cuddy cabin. So I did give it a wash of acetone, but I used spray adhesive and I relied on the sticky back of the generic stuff here to give me my bond. And I'd say 95% of it turned out really well in there. But believe it or not, it wasn't the border. It was actually where 2 bigger pieces met. One side decided to start curling up. So in there, I took some contact cement, weighed it down, and it's turned out like you wouldn't notice. Back here, I decided, okay, I'm really going to go overkill. So I sanded everything down in this area with 120 grit, cleaned that up, and then I washed it twice. I took my rag and I really got it wet with acetone, washed that sucker down. Once that was dry, I had this gallon of Snap Tack fast dry low temperature adhesive, but I think the key to this stuff is it's meant for outdoors exterior use, and it's solvent base. Now there is a component of solventness to your spray adhesive, but because it's in an aerosol form, it kind of evaporates quicker. But this stuff, once you get it on there, it bonds to that gel coat. It really makes a chemical bond, unlike, maybe something more water-based or even this stuff, which kind of sits on the top. So once that had, dried to a tack, which only took about 10 minutes, then I came back with my my EVA foam. Now I took a strip of it, and because my transom is pretty straight, I was able to first glue this strip on the back here. I had already pre-cut my 45-degree picture frame angles. Then I took my square and I squared up this side. So I know this wasn't perfectly square, but when I lined it up with my square, I knew I was building off of that. So then I came in, I put the larger piece of floor in that bow to stern direction that mirrors the cuddy cabin, and I didn't worry about these two ports yet. I just put the whole thing down, and then I really rolled it out. Some areas I weighed it, and then I finished off the border, keeping in mind that I wanted to keep all these picture frame miter joints really tight by putting some of that contact cement on it and really bonding it. And I think it's turned out amazing. Now, probably being well and good just to leave that alone, but what I did is I ended up taking some Sika Flex. Sika is the name of the caulking. Flex is and this is the Sika Flex with the UV protectant. And I just took a small thin bead and I went all the way around the edge, and then I tooled it off with my finger, and then I left it. And I think that's going to keep water from, if any water pools and whatnot, it's going to keep it from, getting underneath and doing any reactions with that glue for a while. I may have to do this once a year. I'm not too sure yet. And then when it came to the actual ports, I was able to cut my ports out, put my thing down, cut a really nice tight line, and then I put that same Sikaflex and I bedded everything down. But as I screwed down, I didn't screw everything on one side. I screwed it down and then made everything come and bed in there real nice. All around my edging, the Sikaflex started to ooze out. And I did everything in my ability not to want to wipe it off. That's when I went. I said, okay, I'm going back. It was like 3 a.m, going to bed. When I came back in the morning, everything was nice and dry, and I was able to then just take, a razor blade and just carve it off. And then I cleaned it up with some acetone, and it was so much easier. Now, when you're buying, maybe not C-Deck or whatever brand you use, but especially this generic stuff, they try to mimic the faux of teak, which is really nice, but it's very kind of grainy. And I've noticed in the cuddy cabin, and then just from samples, that if you get caulking, paint, oils, grease, it's going to sit in there, and if it's a darker color and you try to wipe it off, it's just going to get really down into those grooves. And then if you try to wipe it out with, say, acetone or whatever, it melts the EVA foam. So yeah, anyways, I'm not sure if I'm going to put some sort of coating on this back here for the exterior areas, but as of right now, not only does it look super tight, it just proves to me that I can do this again, and then do it on a larger format in the cockpit sole or floor area. I'm trying to get as big of a piece to keep the seams away from the high traffic areas. If there is a seam, it's going to be a small one, and it's going to be in front of the captain's chair and in front of this passenger seat off to the side. But that's next. So, EVA foam in the splashwell, check. Cuddy cabin, check. We're going to move on to the cockpit.
Hey there, buddy, are you doing all right? I'm doing great, as a matter of fact. I'm on the road. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The bad days are gone, and now I'm on the road.
quick little tip. As you're cutting your borders in, or cutting them out, however you want to look at it, you've pre-cut a bunch of these strips. Now, in the case that you have a faux plank that is running in a certain direction on your boat, you don't have to necessarily cut off a whole separate piece to do your border. What you need to do is cut off that caulking line, and that would be your finished edge. And then this is your trim piece. So instead of getting a whole new piece and attaching it and bringing it up to the corner, you could actually take your 45-degree angle like so. Take a little pencil. I like using pencil because it's a little bit nicer. It helps with your strips, using the actual strip you're going to use. But then what I do is, after I've made my miter corner cut, I come back and I just cut down, including the caulking line. And what that'll do for me is I can just cut along that line. You could use a brazier and a straight edge, probably give you a better line. But for this demo, I don't have to. And then I cut into it, but I don't go all the way through the black caulking line. I just take my more mitered corner, and now you've cut this little piece off, bada bing. And when it comes to placing your banding edge piece, now you only have to really glue down and worry about this miter corner seam and this seam here, and then it gives you the illusion of a picture frame all the way around without having to do that edge piece that is parallel to your caulking lines. So, little tip.
Give you more